Coming up, a look inside. Fargo's newest recruit speaks up as the spotlight on police shines bright.
The governor of North Dakota shuts down 2 controversial bills in the legislature.
Plus, why 14 teachers were let go at Detroit Lake schools. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
For those getting their start in law enforcement, unrest and turmoil have become the new norm.
The impacts of the guilty verdicts in the trial of Derek Chauvin are only just starting to be looked at. As Valley News team's Courtney Lockie found out, the case is a significant reminder of how challenging the job can be for those who wear the badge. It's a story you'll only see here on Valley News Live.
At just 22 years old, Maddie Schobinger gears up each day as the youngest and newest officer for Fargo Police.
I always wanted to be in the military, always wanted to serve my community, and so this was kind of the next best route for me. I have a brother that's in law enforcement as well.
As Maddie spent her summer training in the police academy, she got a first-hand look at how dangerous the job can be. It was only her second week when protests erupted in Minneapolis over George Floyd's death, later much closer to home. She watched her future fellow officers stand with guns and shields on the front lines of the downtown Fargo riots. And most recently, the news of a female officer not much older than herself shooting and killing a young black man.
I knew going into this profession that there's definitely an atmosphere around law enforcement. I think that the community has a right to have high expectations of the police department, and so I wanted to be able to provide that.
Although Maddie is only about 9 months into her career as an officer, she's already learned the kind of toll these traumatic events can take on those who wear the badge.
That's just kind of the gist of the job. I mean, we go through some very stressful situations, and you just got to learn how to cope with that both mentally and emotionally.
For Maddie, serving is her calling, one where she strives to make a difference and be there for her community when she's needed most.
I wake up every morning excited to go to work. I think that it just keeps me kind of humble in a sense, just to know that there is a lot of good in the world and that I can also put that out there.
Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
Fargo police just started their own police academy, and Maddie was part of the first graduating class.
Tonight, Derek Chauvin is in a segregated housing unit for his own safety. He's in the Minnesota Correctional Facility, Oak Park Heights, that's in Stillwater. We'll have more on what's next for Chauvin in just a few minutes. Happening right now in Minneapolis, police are honoring the life of another man who died at the hands of an officer, Dante Wright. The 20-year-old was shot and killed during a traffic stop on April 11th, just 10 miles from where George Floyd died. Wright's family invited the community to pay respects tonight ahead of tomorrow's funeral services. That officer, Kim Potter, is currently out on bail. Her presumptive sentence is 4 years in prison.
Governor Doug Burgum announced this evening that he has vetoed 2 bills passed by the legislature. The first is the transgender sports bill in North Dakota. The bill would have banned anyone under 18 from playing on a gendered sports team that doesn't match their birth certificate. The governor says North Dakota has a level playing field and fairness in girls' sports and says there's no evidence to suggest it's in danger. Burgum could see his veto challenged by lawmakers. The bill passed the House with enough votes to override a veto. The governor also vetoing the controversial anti-mask mandate bill today. It garnered a lot of attention, including a rally on the state capitol steps. It would have prohibited the governor or state health officer from issuing a mask mandate. Burgum says state law assigns him the responsibility to minimize or avert the adverse effects of a disaster or emergency, and the state health officer is responsible for issuing orders deemed necessary to prevent the spread of communicable disease.
The Detroit Lake School Board has voted not to renew the contracts of 14 teachers in its district. Tonight, parents are reacting. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor investigates the changes coming to the district.
14 teachers within the Detroit Lake School District will not have their contracts renewed for the upcoming year.
It's unfortunate, but I imagine that COVID has a lot to do with it. Just a trickle-down effect affects everyone. It's unfortunate.
The decision was made during Monday's school board meeting. According to Superintendent Mark Jensen, Declining enrollment played a part in the decision. Currently, the district is down 250 students this year, which roughly amounts to a loss of $1.5 million in funding. One parent says the loss of students is a big deal.
It's huge, and we just recently passed a referendum anticipating a lot of kids coming to the district.
Superintendent Jensen said the pandemic may have contributed to the reduction in student enrollment as many parents have turned to online classes or homeschooling. Also, some of the teacher contracts are not being renewed because of licensing. Jensen says some teachers have licenses that require the district to not renew, but rather post the position and rehire them the following year. Of the staff being cut, 4 are special education teachers. The father of a 7th grader and a sophomore in the district says losing any type of teacher is unfortunate.
I think it's a big deal no matter what kind of teachers you cut. I think it's important that the kids get the support that they need, and it's unfortunate that COVID affects everything these days.
In Detroit Lakes, Nisha Taylor, Valley News Live.
And the superintendent also says students will not see any changes to their program. He tells us that performance changes were also considered in the decision not to renew these contracts. If you need help uncovering an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. Call 701-237-6576 and leave your tip.
Traffic is moving again on I-94 westbound in Fargo after being held up during the 9 o'clock hour. Police tell us a suicidal man was jumping into traffic. Half a dozen police vehicles were on the scene. They were able to get the man into an ambulance and taken to a hospital.
A video on the app TikTok has sparked concerns from parents worried about the content and who their children are interacting with online. TikTok users claim a group of 6 men recently created a video encouraging others to commit sexual assaults on April 24th. TikTok has said there is no evidence the video ever existed. Tonight, local police are reminding parents to check in with the kids and their devices, saying to turn off their location sharing and make sure all of their accounts are private, as you never know whose lap their TikTok video or Snapchat photo could fall into.
Anything that you post on your Snapchat stories, on your TikToks, any of that can be used to find out who you are and where you go to school, where you live. So kids just have to be smart across everything.
Police say it's also important to check your child's devices and go through their messages and apps to make sure that they are staying safe.
Starting in the morning, northbound and southbound I-29 will be reduced to 1 lane of traffic south of exit 54. North Dakota DOT contractors are repairing the Wild Rice River Bridge. The project is expected to be finished by late July.
Moorhead PD and the Drug Enforcement Administration will be teaming up on Saturday for the National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. Their event will be in 2 different locations, both at Walgreens stores. One is on Main Avenue from 10 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. The second is on 30th Avenue South from noon to 2 p.m. Now, there's also a 24/7 drop-off bin at the Clay County Law Enforcement Center. Both West Fargo and Fargo Police Departments won't have events for Take Back Day, but they do have drop-off boxes in their lobbies. During October's Take Back event, close to 500 tons of drugs were taken in.
The Department of Agriculture is extending its free school lunch program through 2022. The service will remain flexible with social distancing. Schools can also continue providing breakfast and after-school snacks in non-group settings. The USDA says this ensures children are getting nutritious options like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and milk. According to the department, up to 12 million children may not be getting enough to eat at home during the pandemic.
A local high schooler was honored by the North Dakota Farm Bureau, awarding him the Becky Palmer Scholarship. Brian Grabansky, the Hillcrest Lutheran Academy senior, now joins his sister, getting the same scholarship that she received 4 years ago. Grabansky says that farming is in his blood.
As I was 2, 3, 4 years old, I would be sent out to my grandparents' house and I'd be running around the farm, following Grandpa when he's in the tractor and other stuff like that.
As we mentioned, the scholarship was named after Becky Palmer, who died in 2006 after battling cancer. Her impact on the farming community marches on through the Farm Bureau. It was set up to help high school seniors who Joey Bailey with the Farm Bureau says are the future of farming.
I mean, they are the future of our industry. So it's extremely important to help them get their education so that they can get back out in the field and work in agriculture.
Grabansky says that he intends to attend NDSU for agricultural economics.
I can see him, smiling down on us.
Still ahead tonight, while Derek Chauvin sits in isolation for the next 8 weeks, activists continue their fight for change and reform across the country.
But first, tomorrow is still looking like the peak day of the week, but we have to contend with some wind. Hot Cheddar forecast in a couple of minutes.